We have a quorum, yeah, started. We have a quorum, and I need the Madam Clerk to call the roll, please.
Harry Adams.
Here and
Brittany Branham.
Here.
Shag Branham.
Here.
David Gearhart. Rick Hughes.
Here.
B.D. Nunnery.
Here.
Josh Turner.
Here.
Don Lewis.
Here. Dave Gearhart sends his apologies that he couldn't be here tonight. He texted me early yesterday, as a matter of fact. All right, let's start off by invocation. Shay?
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be here to represent this wonderful community. Give us the strength, the wisdom, and the boldness to move forward with the projects we see as fitting for this community. Give us the honorable allowance to do as you wish. In Jesus Christ's name, this I pray. Amen.
Everyone please stand for the covers. We'll set the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Visitors. Wes Harden, you're up first.
Thanks, sir.
Wes Harden's with Kentucky Lottery. He's here in place of Lance Howell, who's going to be here tonight and couldn't be here.
Thank you for that.
Let me give you guys
Anybody in place of Lance is good.
let me give you guys a quick rundown of what it's here for. They have it's a remote lottery machine.
Would you like me to have some information on that?
Yes. And they have a
the
desire to put it in the golf course.
Is this the package that's got the numbers in it?
It does. Yours does.
Thank you.
So
Fire department spot.
I'm sure there's never any gambling goes on.
I have these little brochures of
So, I'm sure there's never any gambling goes on in a golf course, but the lottery would like to put a machine in up there.
So basically what it is, I don't know if you're familiar with Keno. Keno's like a bar type game. It's the big TV screen they draw every 4 minutes. This is a machine we're just now launching. It's been manufactured. These are the first in the United States to be launched. And it's basically the customers go up and put their money in it, play the Keno ticket just like they bought it at the bar, but it eliminates the labor at your bar. So the customers can go play it. Now the bar would be, your golf course would be responsible. The money earned is just like you're selling it. But the money goes into this machine, prints the tickets. We have the TVs up, they can sit there and socialize and watch the TV. So you got no labor, and it creates, now at the golf course, I'm not sure because you got people there all year round anyway, but in the restaurant bar business, it raises food and drink sales by 17%. That's a national average, Keno does. So it's something to think about if you wanted to increase during your slower times in the winter. I don't think you guys ever have a slow time, but there's usually a crowd out there, but it's something to think about. It could increase your profitable items by giving people another excuse to come out on a rainy day or a snowy day and hang out and socialize, watch a ball game, and play some Keno.
What's our commission? For
It's small. It's you're only making 5% on sales and 1% on the payouts. All the money goes to the Keys. I don't know how many of you guys have kids in school, but the Keys scholarship program is funded from us. So every time you sell a ticket, you're helping our local kids go.
It's that same play that old Betty the barber used to use for the children.
For the kids.
For the kids.
This was actually true. Yeah, the lottery operates on 6% of what we take in. And so we operate on really thin margins. That's why we none of us ever get a raise. We hired Lance cheap. And, but
if there were to be a problem, if we want to not do it anymore.
If you want to cease and desist, there's no, you fill out a retailer application. It's a $250 licensing fee. Through August 31st, if you fill this out, 2 weeks after you begin sales, we're going to refund $200. So basically, you'll have $50. You just say 2 months from now, you say, hey, this isn't worth it, we don't want it. We pull it out. No questions asked. You're not under a contract. It's not a contract, a time limit contract. It's just your license to sell this product. There's no term on it. If you decide you don't want to do it, you just tell Lance to come get it.
Yes, Shane.
What's a typical unit bring in an area like
Keno, like where I came from, up along the Ohio River there in Maysville, a lot of the bars there were selling anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a week. Lance did sign up the Kenton Station golf course. There's 2 more golf courses there locally assigned. Darren Feldhouse, remember Darren? Yeah, they're about to break Lance's legs because he won't deliver the, we're having to start installing until, we got 2 weeks and we'll start installing it, so Darren's chomping at the bits, they gamble about like they did down here. So if you want, I can leave my card, and you've also got Lance's number, and so you guys can have, I'm the regional sales manager.
If we
so-
could get approval here, if the board wants it up there. I think we,
There's no use taking it before the advisory board up there and see what their thoughts are until we know these councils won't approve it.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we get the approval this
I-
evening and then
I need
get
a
their.
motion and a vote.
I'll make a motion, see if they like it.
I have a motion to put Keno.
I'll second.
I have a second. Discussion. All in favor? All opposed? It's gonna go before the advisory board on the golf course, and let them, basically they do the determination. They're the ones that are giving all the advice on how to operate and stuff. If they like it, I'll give Lance a call.
I appreciate it. And did Lance, did they drop an application by for you guys?
He emailed to me. Pretty sure he did.
And here's an extra hard copy of it, so if they have any questions on that as well. we can-
So I'm assuming in that motion is also to allow me to go ahead and, if the advisory board approves me, go ahead and start signing the paperwork, correct? I thought I heard you say that, yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes, thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen, appreciate your time.
What page was that number on?
Yeah.
The back page.
Maybe another file somewhere.
Yeah. Anybody else?
That's me.
Visitors want to speak? Yes, sir.
Do I stand up and-
It's up to you.
or kneel before you?
It's up to you. I wouldn't kneel.
Don't do that.
Not
No
this
kneeling. I'm Joe Santia 7. I'm a 3-year resident of lovely town of Prestonsburg. I live on the humble side of North Arnold Avenue. And I have 3 questions, I think. One is, what are we doing in this town about all the empty houses that I notice, especially on Arnold, which is, my neighborhood? Do we address those in some fashion with letters to the owner, increased taxation, burning at the stake?
I appreciate your question on that, and let me explain. I wish we could put more taxes on vacant houses. We can't legally. That'd be improper taxation. Only thing we do is try to help people find houses when we do. I'm fortunate right here where I'm at. I talk to people all the time. I put them in touch with people who have empty houses. And, we try our best to get them filled. We cannot force anybody to lower rent or to make accommodations for anybody to put them in housing. Unless,
One of the people that we brought to town to fight with medical may need a place to live.
there you go.
So we are working on it.
We are working. We're trying to bring people in here so they will need houses. That's one good thing. But there's nothing that we could do to force somebody to adjust rent, to make anything happen so they can do it. And just because, unless the house is in disrepair, unless the grass is over 6 inches long, there's nothing we can do except for, and even at that point, all we do is find them. I wish we could.
Personally, I have a house across the street from me. We can't even find the owners. At this point, it's one of those where it was an heir who was underage, can't even locate the true owner of the home now.
That certainly is a great way to guarantee that home values will decrease, neighborhoods will go to heck in a handbasket. What can you do? Is there a plan to address not only homes on Arnold and other places, but also the downtown establishments? It looks pretty rough down there sometimes.
What do you mean it looks pretty rough?
I mean, the empty home buildings,
Which ones?
the buildings are exploding in the middle of downtown.
Which ones are you talking about downtown?
Oh, I don't know the numbers of them, but there's a number of empty.
I think if you go down there and look right now, there's only 2 on Court Street. I'm gonna use that as an
Court
example.
Yeah.
There's only 2 empty buildings that either is not in the process of being remodeled to be occupied, or is in the process of being rebuilt to be occupied. We've been very fortunate. A lot of people, they concentrate on the negatives and don't look at the positives. I'm not saying you do, but a lot of people do. And what they do is they will say, yeah, we got to empty out. They don't look at the new businesses we do have that spread out all over town. And we're starting to grow some. Just for instance, since Bible Medical Center has been put in up in that area up there, we've had 2 new businesses open in that area that I'm sure wouldn't have had until we got Bible Medical Center in there. So we're actually starting to grow a little bit, and we're starting to grow out from there. So things are starting to happen. Unfortunately, it's a time thing too. We're in a real poor economy right now with the coal taking the lead of us. So we're looking at other economies that we could step into, tourism being one of them. But it is improving. And I understand exactly, I was frustrated 3 years ago until I noticed that we eventually started getting more and more out. So we're getting there.
Mr. Santista, I hope I say this correct, Mr. Santisteban, right?
I'm sorry.
Close?
State Farm.
Close? Was it close?
State Farm.
I can't say. So, there's an avenue that you can go through. You need 3 signatures on a letter to our codes enforcement, because I've done this under the previous administration. It didn't work, but we have an administration that make it work. 3 persons around a building that is not inhabited, and that those 3 residents consider it a danger, then our codes will come to look at it. And if they consider it a danger, that it's uninhabitable, then they will start a process to demo.
Now, under that process, I will say, we've demoed 2 houses in town, or we've been a part of them being demoed. And what the whole deal is, we gotta have people complaining about it. Unless I'm mistaken, the houses on Arnold Avenue that you're talking about, I'm pretty sure that they're in good order. They're not in disrepair, are they? Are the houses in good order, or are they,
I don't believe so.
okay? That's where you need to call in our codes officer, he goes out and starts violating. Once we have a series of violations.
There's one that David Lane's fixing up, that, you know, I'm sure one of the ones he's thinking about is one of the ones beside the Church of Christ.
I should have come.
The old Fairchild
I'm
house.
sorry, I didn't.
But that's being he's renovating it. It's not,
Oh, no, there's one that's being renovated, that they're doing a decent job. But there's another, it's a little A-frame, looks like a chalet, belongs in the mountains.
the one that McGuire's.
And then another one that's.
Oh, no, that's,
Ackerman's
one of the
Ax-
street there.
yeah, well, who was it?
Ackerman's old.
Ackerman, yeah.
I know that we violate them more than once. They go out and take care of the issues and they fix it back, so there's not a lot we can do. After a series of violations, it becomes a safety hazard, then we can act on it. But
Gotta let it
unfortunately, like all government, it's a process.
We have put a new one, we voted in March, I believe,
New code.
where, new code where a lot of this is gonna fall back on the bank that has it. When the banks were allowing these to just go and disrepair themselves. That can't happen anymore. The bank will be held liable.
So I know it's not a quick answer, but it is an answer.
Well, I don't expect that.
Yeah. Well, you're dealing with government.
Thanks.
You had 3 questions, that's 2.
Well, I have another one. This town has as its major iconic symbol, that bridge.
Yes.
Who the heck was in charge of, never mind. But
He's
what
not here now.
can we find money somewhere? Can we write grants to clean it up, power wash it, make it a park? Do something with it. I mean, it's a shame, that's a
Where we're at right
very cool
now.
structure.
Where we're at right now, supposedly, there's not supposed to be even foot traffic on it. So we can't go on and work on it right now due to the shape.
Because it's gonna collapse.
There's big old pieces of concrete falling out of it at any given
Oops,
time,
well, that's not good.
and that's an issue.
That's why it's fenced on each end.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be on it. I think maybe somebody forced the door open or something.
We've looked into fixing that, and I think the most reasonable cost we found so far, and Cliff, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's about $6.5 million.
I don't think it'd be that much, but it's a lot.
It's a tremendous amount of money. We even had a engineer come in from Texas who came in on his own dime just to look at it, because that is the only bridge still standing with that particular type of engineering involved in it. It's the only one in the United States. But
It's not,
that's what he said.
well, I don't care what he said, he's right. I mean, there's plenty of them that that style, not exactly like it, but
That's my point, exactly like that, where the arch goes around to the base of both piers on each side.
Why don't we demo, build a new bridge for those people to get in and out of West Prestonsburg easier?
we're working, there, a solution to the bridge is being worked on. And the three options you've got is to completely rehab it, make it, restore it exactly as it was, and that's gonna be a whole lot. The other option would be to tear it down completely and put something else there, and then the other option would be to possibly just tear it down or safe it up to where everybody can admire it for what it is, which, you know, or, and then find a way around it. But it is being discussed. But it comes down to money. And, you know, the city owns the bridge, even if right now, if Bill got plenty of money, Bill gave us $4 million on fix it, the city's gonna have to maintain it from there, and there's another cost, there's a lot more, you know.
Sure, I mean, it's always about money, but in my notion, and I'm ignorant and innocent, is that it's also wherewithal. You know, or chutzpah. I mean, if you think it's worth saving, making it nice, making it attractive, and make it more of an iconic symbol, then let's go out and find the money.
Go ahead.
I can assure you,
We're working on it.
we have just about exhausted our sources on it. I mean, we went, Cliff's beat doors down, I beat doors down, because I would like anything, nothing more than to be able to save that. So we can't connect the
Can
two
you
of them.
attach to the rail trail?
We already tried that route.
It's more critically important now to have that crossing. I mean, West Prestonsburg should have never been cut off, in my opinion, because that was 1979, give or take, so, I mean, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we're, I don't know, the city should have done more over the last 40 years instead of just dropping it now and then. So it's a bigger challenge, but we are, again, Les is doing everything he can, I'm doing everything I can. But it's critical, not only for the bridge crossing, but to connect that rail to trail project.
10 or 12 years ago, $500,000 we fixed it. Just because it never was secured, it just kept
Decay.
decaying.
But what we need more than anything right now is for the public to finally quit just admiring it for the old, you know, the safety hazard, it's deteriorating, to me it's an eyesore, that's much more than a symbol for the public to come together, make the phone call your senator, call your representatives and say you want something done. And that to me is going to be a critical element of this whole process. Because of the funds, all through the cabinets, federal government, state government, everywhere you see, we're just, you know, hard to justify.
Anybody else? Gene?
I'm not sure I want to speak up at this point. I'm just here on dogs and hot car order. 3 months into this, I'm dedicated, like,
We have, we've looked into it hard,
yeah.
and we've talked with the prosecuting attorney. He's willing to back us on anything we do as long as we have a situation where the dog's in danger. And we're actually going to be putting a directive out in one form or the other to the police and fire, and let them mostly be the ones to deal with this, because they're the first one on the scene within the next week.
Okay.
We're just trying to figure out which venue to use to get it out.
Because I think it needs to be like announced, to be like, hey, City of Prestonsburg, this is official.
You will be the first one to hear about it, and you can come over and film.
Because I can't keep driving to Walmart and like scaring old ladies with a hammer. Like, I can't keep doing that. Like, we've got to have something in writing, you
Well, the
know.
first thing we need people to do is start contacting them. We're gonna have to have police or fire on the scene.
Yeah.
We can't have citizens on that.
So
So
if
we're
you
just
know,
trying,
I mean, the unfortunate case, if you see it, I don't care where you're at in the city of Prestonsburg, we'll be there in less than 5 minutes.
Oh,
Worst
yeah.
case scenario.
yeah.
But don't do self-help if you can
Yeah.
help from it. Try to call the police.
I need-
That's what I tell people, is call them, like, take a picture
And
and call 911.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all we do. Bill,
I don't have anything to say this week.
yet,
Not yet, yeah.
I'm gonna leave that door open for you.
Thank you.
All right, that's public comments, visitors, unfinished business. Having none.
Oh, wait a minute. Can you give us an update on the trail?
The rail trail project, as a matter of fact, we met with the engineering group. They're in the process of working on the bid package now to do the grubbing and the cleaning up basically of it. And we'll be following that up with a second bid, which will be for the construction, which will be taking the ballast, forming it like it has to be, working on drainage and all that. The third one will probably be the bridges. There's gonna be a separate one. And the fourth one will be paving and the aggregate.
When will these first bids come out?
Well, we're waiting on the engineering firm right now. Yeah,
As soon as,
Yeah, the all around,
within a month, easy.
within a month?
yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
that'll be first, and the all around is up, and they'll start on some of the crossings, pretty soon, the next person.
The reason we broke it down, rather than have one company come in, let's say, and I'm gonna use, let's say they got a paving company, wins a bid on everything, he has to sub everything out, and he has to take his slice out of it. If we have individual bids out, it should save us money going in. So,
We have a projected finish date yet?
when we're done. I really don't know what to tell you, because we don't know what the drainage is going to entail till we get up there. We don't think it's gonna be that substantial. And it's gonna be scheduled and everything else, so we don't think it's gonna take long, especially the way that, well, after they pulled the rail and stuff, they did a lot of the compacting and stuff for us, so it should make it pretty easy.
I hope the guy that's doing Mount Parkway doesn't bid on it.
It won't be.
Really? I agree there, Eric.
No, they
There's,
do.
with the Floyd County doing trying to connect with the ATV trails, are we going to try to do something in that fashion with them?
Not on that trail, we can't. We 100%, we said there would be no ATVs, nothing, we can't. We had a
Well,
lot of-
I know on this,
Oh, are we?
are we going to
But
try
just
to,
in general.
We would like to, but the downside of that is we have Corps of Engineer property, which you can't have one on one side, we have US 23 on the other. So we're sort of boxed in. We'll support it any way we can, and if, you know, whatever we gotta do. If we need to go out and start annexing some strip jobs out there and put them on, I'm for it. But that's where the problem is we just don't have the property for it right now. We support it, and I have supported, I've been to the meetings and everything else, but we've got to have the property to be able to do that.
Thank you.
All right, new business. Approval of 7:15 and 7:30 of 19 minutes.
I'll make that motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion. All in favor? All opposed? Approval of bills.
I looked through them today, I didn't see anything different, so I'll make a motion.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor? All opposed? Authorize the mayor to sign loan documents for PCUC. They are trying to get a $500,000, what's the word?
Line of credit.
Line of credit, $500,000 line of credit. They don't need it, they just want to have it for, that's just it, they don't need it, they just want to have it in place for emergencies.
Just in case.
Just in
Just in case they come up short on something or have a crisis, emergency that if they have to do real quick, they'll have
That's
it.
our sport.
Line of credit through us.
No,
No,
line
through
of
the
credit
bank.
through the
Oh,
bank.
through the bank.
I'll make a motion on it.
is it out, or was that what?
Yeah, they took care of all that.
Is that, I couldn't, I saw the revenue, is that in addition to the line of credit we already have, or is that, is it 500,000 on top of something else?
No, they don't have a current line of credit.
That's what I couldn't tell.
No, they do not have a current line of credit. They have loans, but they don't have a current line of credit. It's just $500 sitting, $500,000 sitting there.
It doesn't cost anything besides what you use.
All
And they won't use it unless it's an absolute emergency. It's a safety fund, safety net.
right. I'll second Harry's motion.
I have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Any other new business anybody wants to bring before the council?
Yes, I do.
Figured it.
I don't know what the cure is. I know what the problem is.
You make a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, if you want me to. Yes, I will.
We need to go into executive session for 61.810 subsection 1 subsection B, having to do with a business that will be affected if it went public before was able to at least enter into negotiations on it. It could be very detrimental.
That would be my
I
motion.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Josh, use us just a few minutes. I don't think this will take long enough. We need a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll make that.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Anything coming out of the executive session?
Yeah, I have a motion. I have a motion to authorize the mayor to begin negotiation with all entities involved in our business proposal. I also want to add authorization for, to enter into negotiations with the state agencies that will be intervening in this negotiation process. And when the transaction is reached a tentative agreement for the mayor to bring before the council, something to look at.
Have a motion, need a second.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor? All opposed? One other thing is, we may be scheduling a public hearing here soon, so people watch the news, watch the Facebook, social media, and be prepared for it. We will probably about 2 weeks away, we'll have a public hearing.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? Have a second. Any discussion over? All in favor? All opposed? You know,